was considered private water under the law, meaning the owner of the land had right of use. Now, the Minister of the Department of Water Affairs is the custodian of all water resources, including groundwater, and any use above the needs of basic human need requires registration of use and licensing. Hermanus is located on the southern Cape Coast. It has seen growth and development dramatically raise its water demand over recent years. By 2008, the local De Bos Dam provided less than 2/3 of the water required, and the chemical costs of purifying that water had also risen sharply. The water shortage was tackled on two fronts, by conserving existing water supplies as well as looking for new water sources. In terms of new supplies, a very high-yielding confined TMG aquifer was exploited that yields 1.6 million cubic meters of high-quality groundwater annually. As part of developing this groundwater, a highly regarded modeling, monitoring and management system has been established. This includes a sophisticated telemetry system so that the scheme can be monitored remotely. The telemetric system can also send out automated SMS alarm messages to the appropriate people if the water level drops too far, for example. The Hermanus case study is a good example of groundwater managed in a way that maintains sustainability of the resource. There is a common misconception that groundwater is unreliable and unsustainable. Unfortunately, this is due to a history of groundwater use in South Africa that have lacked monitoring and management systems, which led to both aquifer and borehole failures. Often the source gets the blame, but in most cases it is because of a lack of operation and maintenance of the infrastructure. We have seen the damage overpumping can do to an ecosystem when an aquifer is depleted. And if pumping schedules are not managed and individual boreholes are overpumped, this could lead to various problems such as borehole clogging, damaging costly pumping and borehole equipment, as well as contributing to aquifer depletion. Pretoria is located in Gauteng province, the industrialized and urban heartland of the country. The original water source for the residents of Pretoria came from the groundwater springs of Fountain Valley. Today, the city of Tshwane municipality's water needs are served by a complex system of transferred water from other parts of the country and Lesotho, along with conjunctive use of groundwater from the dolomite aquifers in the area. Pretoria illustrates how groundwater can be successfully used to supplement surface water supply. Developing a water mix so that municipalities are not dependent on one source has become more of a priority throughout South Africa. Incorporating groundwater into the mix can thus help ensure greater water security. The other key issue that the Pretoria example raises is that of groundwater contamination. Some people believe that groundwater cannot become contaminated because it is far away from pollution on the Earth's surface. In fact, contamination of groundwater can occur from above or below. Contamination from surface sources occurs when pollution infiltrates down through the soil into groundwater.
In densely urbanized and industrialized areas such as Pretoria, this is a real concern.
For this reason, boreholes need to be constructed properly. Abandoned boreholes need to be sealed properly. And protection zones around boreholes and aquifers need to become better implemented.
Possible human contamination sources include landfill sites, industrial waste, agriculture, sewage, and leaky petroleum tanks or pipelines. Contamination from below occurs when aquifer depletion causes poorer quality water to be pulled in. For example, when coastal aquifers are overpumped, it can cause salt water from the sea to intrude.
The critical point here is that any contamination of groundwater is extremely difficult and expensive to address, and sadly, almost impossible to fix. Artificial recharge is a groundwater management practice which is better known internationally, but which has also been implemented in some areas of South Africa already.
Artificial recharge describes the practice of taking excess surface water when it is available and redirecting it so that it fills up groundwater aquifers at a higher rate than would happen naturally. Artificial recharge can be done in different ways. For example, in Atlantis, the City of Cape Town's Water and Sanitation Department owns and operates an artificial recharge management system that has been in place since the early 1980s. Here, treated domestic effluent, as well as the town's stormwater, is diverted to recharge basins instead of being lost to the sea. The recharge basins hold the water, allowing it to infiltrate to the sandy aquifer below. This water recharges the aquifer and flows down gradient as groundwater to the well field, where it is extracted by boreholes, treated, and put back into the water supply system of the town. Due to the increased pressure on our freshwater resources, there is currently a growing interest in artificial recharge in South Africa. Prince Albert is a small Karoo town that historically used spring water from the nearby Swartberg Mountains. Today, the municipal water supply is drawn mostly from boreholes and stored in reservoirs. Prince Albert's problem is that its water demand has outstripped the yield of its aquifers. Here, artificial recharge testing has already taken place. Water from the mountain springs was redirected and pumped down into the aquifer through an existing borehole. The measurements taken during the recharge testing showed a dramatic increase in the levels of the aquifer over a short period of time. Artificial recharge will be a far less expensive option for increasing water availability to the town than developing a dam for the area. These interventions in optimizing groundwater recharge serve to illustrate what is already true in the natural system of the water cycle. Groundwater and surface water are not separate systems. They are interconnected.